Police are looking for the man who attacked a young restaurant worker. The man bit that worker 6 times. You can see some of the wounds there. Reg Chapman spoke to that teenager in downtown Minneapolis for a story you'll see only on WCCO.
The egg rolls and the chicken Vietnamese salad.
19-year-old Jazariah Sheldon has worked at the Lotus since he was 16.
Every day I work here, I don't really think of it as like a job. I've known the family since I was like 13.
What he never expected was to be attacked while taking out the garbage. Video from a store nearby shows the confrontation.
When I walked past him for the first time, he said something along the lines of, "What are you doing here, suburb boy?"
Jazariah says there were several people standing by watching as the man continued to verbally attack him.
There was a lady watching. She watched everything happen. And he looks at the lady and he goes, "Watch what I'm about to do to this B word." And then that's when he starts pushing me up against the window. And then that's when it turned into self-defense.
Jazariah studies jiu-jitsu. He used those skills and what he learned as a high school wrestler to fight back.
Every time I would pick him up and have him in the air, he was what, like 6'2"? So he has a lot of room. He would latch onto my shoulder while I was taking him down. And every time I had him on the ground, he would bite my chest.
Bystanders pulled Jazariah off the attacker, and when he tried to walk away, he kept coming for him. He was bitten 6 times on his shoulder, his back, and his arm.
He got his whole mouth on there.
Got his whole mouth on there, yeah.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the guy, bit off more than he can chew, so.
Lotus co-owner Yum Nguyen says his family has seen the neighborhood change since they opened in 1984.
I think safety is a huge issue here in Minneapolis. People don't tend to come out anymore to go dine out, to go eat, because they don't feel safe. I think that's the biggest thing.
He wants more patrols in the area, but understands why police response is limited.
Yeah, they need more help. The guys are just short-staffed, and there's only so much they can do.
Nguyen hopes neighbors use their power of presence to keep the area safer.
I've always believed if more people came out, more people from the neighborhood, it tends to shoo away the bad people.
With photojournalist Chris Cruz, Reg Chapman, WCCO News.
Police say they are searching for the attacker. We're told he could face felony assault charges.
It's a beautiful Friday morning. I'm probably going to be doing a couple different videos. Usually, as y'all know, it's getting close to 8. So most of the time, around this time, I'm on that transit, I'm on that express. But today I get to go out to Shakopee. So I'm going to give you all a Shakopee story. One of the stories is going to be, I took an interview out there, so I'm going to talk about that if I can remember it. I lost my notebook, or I think it's down in the basement where I do most of my videos and stuff. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the Shakopee video. So y'all will probably get that today. I'm still going to do the Freedmen's thing. I'll probably do that tonight. If I don't do it tonight, I'll do it tomorrow during the afternoon or something like that. But y'all should get that this weekend. It's going to be long, so bear with me. I also want to do one on the Dismal Swamp. I'm getting all my stuff together for that because I wanted that one to be more interactive, so I might wait a little bit for that. We're still going to get the foundational freedman, James Fortin. I'm going to put that together in the next couple weeks. So what I'm doing is I'm taking Brother Chat and I'm making stories. I'm not going to hide. A lot of people think, well, and a lot of times folks pay Upwork and Upfever, all these places for, like it's a secret sauce, it's some secret. No, it's not. Folks is using Brother Chat, bro. And it looks good a lot of times. Sometimes I was a little torn by it, like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? The artistic feel and how stuff, man, damn that. If you got a story to get across, just use the tool. But you could still pay for artists. If you're a good artist, people are going to pay for you. You can't get around great art. AI could do something like Pablo Picasso. It ain't Pablo Picasso. It ain't Van Gogh. It's not El Greco. That's why we mention those names. They were before AI. So, AI could only do so much. We don't want to get to the point where we're taking the feeling completely out and we walking around like Total Recall. But at the same time, you know, if you got a story and, you know, you got some good information that you want to get out to your folks, hey, this is what it probably looked like for Negroes in the Trail of Tears. This is probably what it looked like for black folks in Tulsa or whatever. And you have a story, you know, when it's interactive, people could easily see it. And then they could go do their own research. A lot of people are saying now that, you know, stuff is being taken out to school. As parents, it's our jobs. You know, the Chancellor Williams, the John Henry Clarks, all of those people have already put in the work. They didn't have the internet. They couldn't go on the internet and get plebiscite babble and talk about reparations is going to come from Mars and all that. They weren't able to do that. They had to actually get their feet wet and travel and hit the grounds and get the facts. And they still had a wealth of information, even more so than we got. If they would have had access to what we had, man, they really would have been digging up and uncovering some stuff. That's why it's important for you to have the Anthony Browders and the Rashidos and stuff like it. It's important because they be coming with that work, you know. So, but anyway, yeah, the people are using brother chat. That's what people are using. Today, this morning, I saw a particular story, and I'm talking about because I be moving around in the city and I be into my travels, and there's a video that I'm probably going to post alongside this, and I might make a short of it too. And people probably ain't really going to know what it is because people typically don't have this. But I call this the equalizer is what I'm going to call it. This is the equalizer to a certain degree. You know, Minnesota, and I'm from Minnesota, born and raised. I'm not an implant. I'm not an immigrant. I'm not a transplant, or what they call it, not an implant, transplant. Well, there might be some implants around this bitch too. So, me growing up here, I got to see a lot of its changes. There's things that I don't remember in the 80s. The 90s is what I remember the most. But now, our city, or I mean, the Twin Cities in general has gotten to this point. Minnesota has always been a give you kind of state. That's why we get, not all, but we get a lot of trash from out of state. I'm just going to be flat out honest. You got people that come here that want to do something better, and you got people that come here that want to do the same stuff that they've been doing. I'm just going to be flat out honest. And then what Minnesota has done, and no one can refute me on this fact, they have transplanted an immigrant class over the black Americans that have always been here. We've already discussed that. Whatever. Water under the bridge, the city's going to go to hell. Whatever. So all those resources, they probably get federal grants. And so I got a homie that was breaking it down. Because his parents were immigrants. So he was breaking it down. He said what they do is they get all kinds of federal subsidies and kickbacks. And they just bring a bunch of people here. And then they got the SSI. I mean, they just get kickbacks upon kickbacks. Anyway, and that's the tax base. Okay. So now, we've come to a point now. Now, I seen something where they were protesting and complaining about the train. I don't know too much about that. Something about the mall or businesses not wanting. I don't know if they want to extend the blue line or whatever. Something. The blue line's already janky. I don't know what the hell they want to extend it for. But I guess they saying the justice crew out there, they had some little, I don't know. I'll check that in a minute. I want to get to more information before I speak on that. But I seen a story at this place. If I drive into Minneapolis, I'm going to go down there and show y'all where it happened. But it's it's an Asian place, and they hired a brother. Now, y'all know my policy. Y'all know my policy since they kicked the Africans out in China. Now, I don't know where they're from or if it's Chinese or whatever, but it's a place, and it's been kind of a staple in the area. I don't think I might have ate there maybe once. But you know, there used to be a gas station right off of, is it Grant? It's downtown. So it's the end of downtown. You got all the hotels. There was a steakhouse. Was it called Ikiban's or something like that? I'd never been there either. I should have been, but that was supposed to be a spot back in the day. But it's close to the convention center. This little area, I'm gonna show y'all this story. Well, you're probably gonna hear the story first, and then I'm gonna, you know how I do my videos. I throw a little Black history in there. I might throw some race soldiers in there. I might throw some Sambos in there that's talking first, so you could get kind of a back and forth idea of, different perspectives and attitudes or whatever the case may be. So, sometimes I might throw a lot of times I'll throw in like cooking, where it shows Black American culture. I'll throw that in there. I do these things on purpose, y'all. It's not accidental. I do it. Everything I put in there, there's a reason. This little dude was working at this Asian restaurant. He was like 16 or 19. I don't know how old he was. He was like 18, 17. And he's been working there since he was 14. Little mixed kid. You know what I'm saying? Looks like a respectful young man. His daddy he looked like he might have a black daddy. I don't know. He know that jujitsu, so his daddy might have showed him how to put them paws. So he's working at the restaurant, minding his business, right? Y'all know my policy on that too. If you minding your business, as far as I'm concerned, anything goes after that. If you minding your own business and you ain't bothering nobody and somebody press up on you, I don't care what you do to them. You set their ass on fire for all I care. Because you minding your business. If you minding your business and somebody presses you and threatens you, anything goes as far as I'm concerned. I have no sympathy for the assailant beyond that. I just don't. Never have. He's taking out the trash. Now, what you're going to see in this video, is very interesting. There was a sister that looked like she was holding a baby and was carrying, she had like a little tote behind her or something like that. That's what it looked like. Let me go take a look at it real quick. Let me look at it real quick. Hold on. I'll be right back.
The egg rolls and the chicken beanies.
He never
What are you doing here, suburb boy?
got the garbage. Video from a store nearby shows the confrontation.
When I walked past him for the first time, he said something along the lines of, what are you doing here, suburb boy?
Taking out the garbage. Video from a store nearby shows the confrontation.
When I walked past him for the first time, he said something along the lines of, what are you doing here, suburb boy?
Jazariah says there were several people standing by watching as a man continued to verbally attack him.
There was a lady watching. She watched everything happen. And he looks at the lady and he goes, watch what I'm about to do to this B word. And then that's when every time I would pick him up and have him in the air, he was...
All right, I'm back. So I zoomed in. I want y'all to kind of see what he was doing. I don't know if the lady knew the dude. She looked like she was carrying a tote. Maybe it was for groceries or something like that. And she had a baby on her arm. So I'm not really sure what was going on. She probably don't know. But the dude was posted up. Now, first of all, nigga, you ain't even supposed to be there. You ain't supposed to be there. You ain't shopping in that area or spending no money. You just posting up. So this is what one of my homies came up with this term. He said, now the gangs, they say, well, gang violence are lames. Gangs and gang violence are lames now. It's not your normal organized or so-called sub-organized gang banging, selling crack, shooting each other up, dissing the set. It's now bum ass Negroes that are lames that have, and there's layers of them. You'll have one, and one might be on fentanyl, and he might sell a little bit, and they ain't got nowhere to go. And then it might be one that has a car. So there's a group. Now they have gangs of homeless lame ass niggas that just kind of get stand around and just don't do anything, and some of them you won't know that they ain't got nowhere to go. So what you have here is you have a young brother that's doing his job, taking out the trash, and you got this tall, lanky ass Negro sitting up there talking about what you doing, suburb boy. So this dude is trying to dictate who can be around. First of all, you don't pay no taxes there, dude. You ain't spending no money. You're loitering, and you're telling this dude where he can't be. Now, granted, he might be from the suburbs. He sounds like he probably could be. But this dude is taking it upon himself that his brother's doing his job. He's doing his job. And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all that's going on. You have groups of lame ass niggas that stand around. They're doing it in downtown St. Paul. They're doing it all over. Anywhere where they could congregate. And what they're doing is they're harassing people that are working on their way to work or doing stuff and stuff like that. So now y'all gonna see why I made this video and why I made what showing y'all what the equalizer is. Because you might not be able to get to a blade real quick. So that you're gonna see the equalizer. I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is. It's just simple logic. When you see it, you know, hey, I might want to go ahead and wrap me up one. Practice a little bit. Practice against your garage or something like that. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people are not going to want to do it. But you better be safe than sorry. You better be safe than sorry. All right? Because you don't know what these folks gonna do. This man done bit the man. He bit the young man. And see, now here's the thing. You so tough that you can't put your dukes up. You couldn't get with the dude. He looked like he was older than him too, which makes it even more facetious. This young man's doing his job. He's taking out the trash. You're telling him he can't be there. You see what I'm saying? So, not only are you loitering, you're trespassing, and they haven't found this dude. That's the thing about it. They have not found this man. This guy is still out and about and probably in the area. Now, the cameras can only show so much. It look like one of them old janky little cameras. It looked like he had a tank top and a do-rag or whatever, the typical bum nigga, the typical Minnesota bum nigga, demonstration. It irritated me. Then I kind of thought about it. I said, man, this is multiplied. Look, these damn alarms. The alarms, my alarm went off. Little guy's doing his job. And if you notice, the lady kind of stops. So now you want to impress the female. He put that Steven Seagal on him, and now he want to bite him. You don't know what that nigga got. He wants to impress me. Look what I do to him. So you want to impress the female. So he sees the female. And see, this is that attention starvation stuff. Now, granted, yeah, the guy could have been on drugs. There's something else going on, too. Because there's people that are on drugs that don't bother you. So there's something else that's going on. Let's unpack it. Suburb boy. So now, y'all got to understand something. Now, there's going to be another story I'm going to get into, and this is a Uber story. I'm gonna put them all in one. Suburb boy. So I'm coming, now bear with me, y'all. I'm coming from the standpoint of a broke nigga syndrome. So point number one, I don't own anything around here. Right? I'm not supposed to be here. Point two, I'm not spending any money. Point three. Point four, I'm harassing somebody doing their job. So I'm keeping this man from doing his job. So now, are you violating that man's constitutional rights? Because he has a right to do his job. You don't have a right to be present, broke nigga. You don't have a right to even be there because you're not spending any money or paying no taxes. So that's the fourth point. The fifth point, attention starvation. Let's go back to the first point about the suburbs. Broke Negro syndrome is the idea that because you think this kid is from some place where you should be in a big ass house, you don't want him to be there because that's your hood. This the hood. This is the city. So I dictate somewhere where I don't pay taxes for a working man. I want y'all to really think about where this is going. It's not as simple as y'all think. Y'all probably thinking, oh, but it's just some dude on drugs. No. There's people on drugs that don't bother people. I don't want you, quote unquote, here for somewhere where I don't own and I don't have any jurisdiction and I don't pay taxes and I'm not spending any money. So the broke nigga syndrome is you're from the suburbs. So look what I'm going to do to you. That nigga was a predator. If he was in a confined environment, I would not hesitate to think. And see, now you got to think about something else now, y'all. Let's go a little bit further. Is that nigga LGBT? Because that's a lot of energy for some dude you don't know. You see what I'm saying? You won't let him go do his job, and you want to impress the females. So now I'm starting to wonder: is this nigga LGBT? Because you don't know what this man knows. You didn't know that young dude knew jujitsu. He was trying to get him on the ground. He was losing the fight, so he bit him. He bit him in the back. I mean, he took a chunk out. He bit him, and you could tell the kid was disciplined. So he probably was telling them like, hey man, what's going on? Like, you could see the exchange of words. But once you see, I'm like that too. Once I see, because you could tell when you're getting ready to get into a fight. You get that feeling. Your body trying to tense up, you kind of know, okay, this is about to go. You feel it in your chest. He's a martial artist. So he could just tell by the body language, all right, I'm going to put this dude down. I'm going to put this dude down. Because some people don't understand verbs. They might have to understand the equalizer. When I go out the house, I'm in a mind state of war. And people say, well, what do you mean by that, DP? You got a chip on your shoulder. That's not war. You're supposed to win the war. You're supposed to win the war mentally before the battle even starts. When I walk outside, I'm paying attention to my surroundings. I might be relaxed to a certain degree, but I'm paying my attention. Is that a tree hopper? Yeah, that's a tree hopper. Tree hoppers, like you guys know, I used to study invertebrates and stuff. That's like a little, it's about maybe like this small, real small. They just hop. You know what I'm saying? They just hop. I don't see them too often. I think they eat bark or something like that. They're real small. I'm not accustomed to seeing. I don't see some of the insects and some of the things that I used to see when I was growing up. I don't see some of those no more. At one point, the grasshoppers went away until I moved out to Ramsey County, and I seen big grasshoppers like this big. We used to chase them, you know what I'm saying, and pick them up and stuff like that. We used to do that. So I just notice when I see something, I just notice. Even that, I notice stuff. I'm not just walking around like, oh, the zombie. I notice things. I notice and respect everything around me. I notice things. So, when I walk outside, I'm in a war state, because I know that when I'm out and about, as you just saw, this man was doing his job. These folks will do something to you and they won't think two sets about it. I don't walk out here acting as if somebody ain't gonna bother me, because the thing is the police are not gonna show up till after the fact, and you gonna be sitting somewhere hurt. You better hurt them and don't worry about it, because you want to be alive. You're much better off. People will tell you, well, yeah, you can walk away. You can try to do that. You know, you better be careful you don't turn your back and they knock you upside the head with something. Especially like any young women are listening to young men, especially young women. Do not walk outside the house thinking that everything's just okay. You don't have to walk out here like Van Damme. I'm just saying, do not assume. This dude was doing his job. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When I be on them trains, I have a weapon right next to me at all times, because I'm not taking no chances with none of these bums. I'm not. A lot of times these folks are bothering people they don't know. I grew up with a mind state in a city where you don't just bother people that you don't know. If you don't have somebody, if you don't have questions for directions, or if you don't have questions about, you know, if you're trying to sell something and you have an actual product. I was a hustler, so I had product. I'm not talking to random people unless I got something to say. If I'm not spending money with you, or if you're not spending money with me, I'm not really having long drawn out conversations, unless of course I'm reading a book of somebody, you know. And a lot of times, this is another thing too. When I used to be on the bus as a young man, a lot of times I'd have a book. And usually it'd be white people that would ask me what I'm reading. I had a white guy tell me one time, I'm not used to seeing black people read books. Did it again. That's my alarm. I'm not used to seeing black people read books. Well, I hope I didn't offend you. I mean, I don't know what to say about that, man. I said, you know, black people read. It's not 1865. Well, I didn't mean it like that. And I thought about it for a minute. I said, well, I don't see a lot of brothers on the bus when I be on the bus reading a book. So that was an observation that he had. And to be quite frank, that wasn't a common thing when I was coming up. You had brothers that was reading books. You had black people that was reading books. But I'd read a book. Because the book is not just me finding out information. I'm going to tell you what that book did a lot of times. That book is a leave me alone radar. Which means if you stop me from reading my book and you interrupt me from reading my book, you better damn have something to say. So when people see you reading the book, sometimes they can be like, well, he's busy. You see what I'm saying? He's doing something constructive. So now if you interrupt me by reading this book, you might have a question about this book here. So sometimes dudes don't know what to think when you reading the book. And the ladies be kind of looking like, well, this dude's smart. So sometimes that would attract them too. Reading a book is more powerful than you think. I'd be sitting there reading. And then another thing too, you're separating yourself from the rest of the pack. You're separating yourself completely from the rest of the pack. trying to. I've already taken it out. You're separating yourself from the rest of the pack. And a person will know, okay, this person's focused. So you really may not know what to think. So there's been a lot of times where I've been on the bus, and you know how sometimes you'll be on the bus and somebody want to say something to you and they ain't really got nothing to say. It'd be a dude like the one that was bothering the brother that was trying to take out the trash. It'd be a guy like that most of the time. That's who it would be a lot of times. And they looking, and I can kind of tell because, you know, I'm paying attention to my surroundings. So I can kind of tell. And they want to say something. So I might kind of look up, look back down at my book, maybe look out the window or whatever like that. Eye contact's a big thing. Eye contact is huge. So people, the eyes are, they say, a way to the soul. It says so much, you know, but sometimes you'll be, hey man, what's that about? And I have a little bookmark a lot of times, so I might pause a bit. I do that on purpose too. That pause says a lot too. I'll pause, put the bookmark, close the book. This book is about this or whatever. But sometimes I'll be on the bus educating niggas. And I can tell the crowd is some niggas that want to say or do something stupid. But sometimes I'll be on that bus and I'll be like, well, this, that, and the third or whatever, like, you know. And then based on how the level of the conversation goes, you know, I might kind of go, and it might be someone else that might join in. So sometimes I see, because y'all know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you'll be on some of those buses and it'd be a bunch of non-constructive talk, a bunch of nigga talk in the back about some BS. Right? And sometimes it ends up in an argument or whatever the case would be, because the group don't really have anything constructive to say, right? So I might say, but then you got the ones that are kind of like, dude, man, the little suburb, or, you know, a little bookworm, you know, they'll have some folks kind of like that, right? So sometimes you'll have some people like that. But if the overwhelming crowd is interested in the book that I'm reading and what I have to say, that overrides Mr. Lame Gangbanging nigga. It overrides him. So now the attention's on me, where people want to know about this book. It's happened. It's happened many times. And then sometimes there might be some sisters in there and they might want to choose. That's another thing too. If I was on the bus and I'm reading a book, people just assume you're smart. That's what people think. Because a lot of dudes can't read well. Believe it or not, a lot. They can't really read too well. So sometimes people just assume you're smart. You know? But I kind of got off. Well, I'm in a war. Even when I'm reading that book, I'm paying attention to what's going on. And other people are paying attention to you. People pay attention to each other. Sometimes too damn much. So when I'm on that bus and I'm reading that book, I'm listening into the conversations a lot of times. Sometimes I'll have my headphones on and I don't even be listening to nothing with my book. So if I hear somebody trying to plot, I already know what's going on. It's nothing worse than being not surprised. I don't want y'all to think that because you're minding your business that people won't bother you. And we live in a state that does not promote or advocate for getting rid of these folks for doing so. Minnesota has no qualms of you being a victim. None. They do not care. They would rather you be bleeding on the concrete, writing up a statement about what the person did, rather than knocking the shit out of this person or filling them with a few holes and saying, well, you know what? Yeah, this nigga wasn't supposed to be here. I was minding my business, doing my work, and sending you home. No charges. They would rather you be bleeding on the concrete than that. Not by my opinion. This ain't about no opinion. This is simple evidence. Because whenever somebody defends themselves in this state, it's a long laundry list about what was this nigga doing that, well, why you could have did this, you could have walked away, you could have retreated, you could have did this. He's not even supposed to be here. He's not spending no money. He's not hustling. He's not doing nothing. He's not even supposed to exist. He's supposed to be sitting somewhere at a park bench sleep. He's not even supposed to be around us. He's not supposed to be bothering us. We out minding our own business, spending money with your family, you cashing a check or whatever. That nigga's not even supposed to exist in this world to us. And what I mean by that is, he's not supposed to be communicating and bothering the people that's being constructive. That doesn't match. He's loitering, so he's not supposed to be standing around bothering people. He's not spending no money. He's not paying no taxes. So that's why I say, nigga, you don't even exist. We're not even supposed to be talking to you. Well, you from the suburbs. Look what I'm going to do to you. What? And the police, they don't bother them. They don't. They don't bother them. They mess with Tamir Rice. They bothering Mike Brown. They mess. Let's get back to Tamir Rice. They bothering Tamir Rice. The police is supposed to pull up and knock that nigga upside the head and say, get the fuck out of here. Because you're bothering a child that's doing his job. You're bothering a kid that's doing his job. The police was supposed to come up and say, hey, what's going on, sir? Well, sir, I'm doing my job, and this man's saying I'm from the suburbs, and he wants to do something to me. Oh, really? They supposed to take a billy club and beat the fuck out that nigga and send him on his way. Don't even send him to jail. He's getting free meals. They supposed to beat the shit out you and send you on your way. That's what they should be doing. For somebody that's harassing someone that's doing their job. Like I said, I have no qualms about what happens to you if you're bothering somebody. But they don't do that. I wouldn't have no problem with it. If the police showed up, hey, sir, what's going on here? Well, you know what? He's from the suburbs, officer. And I'm about to do something to him. Because he's from the suburbs and he's doing his job. I'm about to do something to him. Oh, really? We gonna Mason beat your ass. And we gonna send you on your way. How is that wrong? Because if his cousins or his homies seen that, how is that wrong in this world? If his cousins seen that, and if it was his buddies that knew jujitsu or knew all this kind of stuff, and they pulled up on the scene as the justice community, hey, well, why are you bothering this young man? If the average person seen what was going on, why are you bothering this young man? Well, he's from the suburbs. He's not supposed to be here. I'm a broke ass nigga not paying taxes. Watch what I do to him. Oh, really? Okay, we gonna beat the shit out of you, and then we gonna send you on your way on a stretcher. I have no problem with that. Absolutely none. I don't care about his drugs and all this stuff. He was thinking cognitively enough to threaten that man. Now, one may say he knew the dude. I don't believe that. This little young brother sounds like he went to jujitsu. He's disciplined. He took martial arts. He understands the discipline. I don't believe. Going the rabbit ran under my car. I don't believe that young dude started that fight. He looked like he was just taking out the trash. You from the suburbs. It wasn't where you from on some gang stuff. You're from the suburbs. So now you broke gang banging. But he didn't mention anything about a gang. He said, you're from the suburbs. So you seen this dude and just said, I got a victim. I'm gonna bother him. But that's what I'm saying. The police ain't gonna come. They're not gonna come till after the fact. They didn't even catch the dude. I would have much rather seen, and I don't even want to call him a brother, I would have much rather seen that dude busted up on the ground on his way to the ER. I would have much rather seen that dude busted up with his arm broke, jaw wired, with a black eye on the ground so the police could pick his ass up and take that grass to the Hennepin County Jail. I would have much rather seen that. That's the position that I take. And there's a lot of people here that feel the same way. Here's the issue. There's a racial element. If the police did what I said they did, now they gonna say, well, now you beat this brother up. Do we need a black police force? Not to go around beating people up, but there should be an understanding in our neighborhood. Hey man, you're bothering this kid. He's trying to do his job. Why are you bothering him? Well, he's from the suburbs. And I'm just some broke nigga standing around that ain't paying no taxes. I don't own anything around here. I claim this my hood in my city, but I don't own anything around here. But I'm bothering this young man that's trying to take out the trash, and he's from the suburbs. He probably lives in a nice home somewhere. I don't like that. Oh, for real? Hey, young man, go ahead and do your job. Take out the trash. We got him. And stomp the mud out this bitch. Stomp that nigga into the dust. I'm talking about do the Gregory Hines on it. Step and fetch it that nigga. Stomp that nigga half to death. And send his ass on his way. You're bothering this young man trying to take out the trash and mind his own business because he's from the suburbs and he might live in a big house that you should be trying to get. Stomp his ass into a dinosaur. Land before time, that nigga. Land before time. Stomp his ass, Jurassic Park T-Rex. Stomp his ass into the dust and send him ass into the ER. See if he tries that again. But liberal Minnesota would say I'm wrong. Minnesota would say I'm wrong. Let him go and do all of that. That's what they would say. Because if that was my son, I just saw it was a sister that was trying to do her job. I should try to post that too. It was a sister trying to do her job. I might post that too. It was a sister trying to do her job, and the white dude was calling her the N-word at the job and all that, and the daddy and the cousins pulled up. Hey, you need to get rid of this dude. Do y'all want a Sprite? Do you want something to drink? No, I don't want none of that. I'm trying to see about this. Fire him right now. The white dude sitting there making his little, you call it an N-word. You see how that energy transpires? Call it an N-word. He's sitting there making a sandwich. He don't even look up at the daddy. He don't even look up. See, these folks think that they can just attack your kids, and they think they can get attacked. They think that won't nobody pull up. They think that they're safe. Now, this was a race soldier that did this. This was a little different because he was working there. So he didn't assault her. He verbally assaulted her. But that might be a little worse because he's working with her and he called her the N-word. You know what I'm saying? But the daddy and the cousins pulled up. And all it would have took was a word. They were trying to handle it the civil way. But that was a show of force. Letting them know, you're not just going to do my child like this. You better talk to him or I'm going to talk to him. Because see, he said, I want him to call me the N-word. He ain't going to do that. I want to know why. Why did he call him the N? Why didn't he call the daddy the N-word? You call the daughter the N-word. You don't want to call the daddy and the cousins the N-word? Because we going to get on your ass right up in this damn restaurant. See, those brothers were not like the dude that was messing with the kid that was taking out the trash. That's a different breed. See, yeah, they pay taxes. The daddy probably got a house, owns property, pays taxes, got bail money. Ready to ride for his daughter. He was nowhere near even close to that dude that was bothering that kid that was trying to do his job. I don't believe that he knew that kid that was trying to do his job. I don't. He's been working at that job for a while. And what did the owner say? People don't want to dine because of niggas like that. Because it's not safe. You want to go out with your family and somebody bothering you. Hey, I'm with the equalizer. I'm going to show y'all that video. Go ahead, get you an equalizer. Don't worry about you living. Don't really worry about what happens to this person. Don't worry about them too much. Don't worry about them. Because the thing is they're bothering folks a lot of times. They're bothering folks. So, that's why, I understand how like my older brother, sometimes one of my homies, he always sees him on the train and stuff like that. And he said, man, that man look like he getting ready to go to war. They don't really bother my older brother because they don't know. They kind of look at him and be like, well, man, I don't know if I should, So when they have that in question, you see what I'm saying? You goddamn near got to walk around like that. Because they'll try you. Like the train situation is like the penitentiary now. The train situation is like Stillwater. It's like Oak Park Heights now. The train is like Oak Park Heights. It's like Supermax now. You getting in on this train and folks looking. And it's but that brings me to my last bit of story that I'm going to cover. And I got footage on this. So when they lock this piece of trash up, then I'm going to put it out. Because my homie sent it to me. He asked me. I got a homie that was driving for Uber. One of my homies that I got into the IT field. He's doing Uber. This dusty dude, I can't wait to do this story. Because like I don't give a damn about folks like this. I'm calling out I don't know how big it is. It's probably a small percentage compared to folks but I'm calling out the yellow belly, underbelly, janky shirt, do-rag nigga class that bothers working class black folks. We can't have it. I don't like it. Never have. Even as a kid, I never liked it. The criminal class, y'all supposed to be so-called gangsters. You ain't supposed to bother civilians. The underbelly, the criminal class, criminals, crime niggas, you not supposed to be bothering civilians. Civilians are supposed to be off limits. You see what I'm saying? So he gets in to his car, his Uber, he drops the dudes off right off of West River Road where I used to work, right where that Broadway Pizza is. He drops him off somewhere over there. So I'm looking on the video. He sent me the video like, man, you know this dude? I don't know these little janky dudes like that. I still gotta go to Walgreens. Man, this dude, my homie drops him off and he leaves trash. I don't know why, he probably did it on purpose. He leaves trash. He got some little hood rats in the back. So they all with it. I'm telling y'all, this group of folks that are like that, they all hang together. The new gang is the lames. They all hang together. So now they get out the car. One dude leaves the trash in the car, so my homie's handing him the water, whatever. It looked like it's he's about to get ready to go. He grabs my homie's backpack. Let's get some snacks in there, or whatever like that. And he starts talking about, you know, I'ma nail you if you don't let this go. So basically, in so many words, that's terroristic threat. So now, and you know they probably got to switch because them dumb niggas don't know what to do with it anyway. So he took his backpack and left. Now there's just snacks in there. Now y'all are getting into an Uber on camera. The camera's right here. You getting into an Uber, you're on camera committing a robbery with a weapon. You know this weapon ain't registered. You know that. And you know he got a rap sheet. You know that. We already know. We ain't even got to ask. And you do this on camera. So I told my homie, I said, anything that happens to that dude, if the law catches him and they stretch his ass out, we don't need a Black Lives Matter for that nigga. We don't. We can't get behind that. Tell black folks stay home. If the law catches him and they do him dirty, do not march for that nigga. No. See, we don't support that, y'all. We don't do that. Do not support that. Bury his ass. Yeah, we don't do that. See, we got to get to a point where the criminal underbelly class like that, and like, we gonna have to start shunning that. We already, you know, we don't like it. We gotta separate from that. We need to delineate from niggas like that. We can't have that, because you got black people that are getting up, going to work, minding their own business, and you got folks doing that. No. That's I don't care what happens to that nigga. I'm just be honest. I don't care what happens to him. Because this has gotten out of hand. This is the epidemic in Minnesota. And it's probably like that in a lot of other states or whatever. But my theory is, yeah, you hands off, man. Working class black folks, you hands off, man. You supposed to be robbing other criminals. And they in the back, dead homie this, dead homie that. Okay, so y'all members. Okay, y'all know y'all members, so you know you ain't supposed to be messing with no civilians. Gang members ain't supposed to mess with civilians. That's off limits, to my understanding. To my understanding, ain't that the street code? You're not supposed to mess with no civilians at all. Man just doing his job or whatever. You supposed to attack other criminals and jack them and hurt them. So, man, I just want to kind of just go on my little, man, I'm telling you, man, that video, I was just kind of like, it's crazy. And see, this is what happens if you don't have strong parents. Sometimes your parents will tell you otherwise, and then you still do it. Well, you can't do nothing about that. But this is why you got to have strong parents, and you got to have parents in the home. You got to have a strong nuclear black family. You got to, man. That way, it at least gives them a chance. I guarantee you, if you talk to that dude that pulled that off, I don't know, man. I'm gonna wrap it up, man. I gotta go, y'all.